Hello, everyone. This is Big Dan with Southern Extreme Sports Talk. Just wanted to get on here and talk about the top 25 for this week coming up. This will be week 9. We just got through with an exciting week 8. Georgia beating Texas, LSU beating Arkansas. Some other good teams winning. Navy, Army keep winning. So without further ado, we'll get into the top 25 here. The number 1 team now, Oregon, they will be playing Illinois at home. Illinois is the number 20 team. They just got through beating Michigan this past weekend. So it'll be a pretty good matchup, but at the end of the day, Oregon's just got too much power, I believe. They hitting on all cylinders right now. So I look for Oregon to win that game probably, I'd say, somewhere between 10 and 17 points. They'll beat Illinois. The number 2 team, Georgia, they are off this weekend. Number 3 team is Penn State. Penn State is at home against Wisconsin. Now Wisconsin, they had a pretty good win this past weekend. I forget exactly. I think they played Rutgers, I believe. I'm gonna check and see real quick for you. Wisconsin. No, I apologize. They played Rutgers 2 weeks ago, beat them 42-7. They played Northwestern and won 23-3. So, but Wisconsin has lost to Alabama and USC. Right now, I don't know how much that bodes well or bad. USC and Alabama, they slipping bad. But anyway, they play Penn State. Penn State should win that game. Of course, Penn State, they struggled with USC a little bit, but they did win 33-30. But anyhow, Penn State should win by a touchdown, maybe 10 points on Wisconsin, I believe. And so we'll move on to the 4th team in the AP ranking is Ohio State. They will play Nebraska. Nebraska got blowed out this weekend by Indiana, 56-7. So it wasn't pretty. So Nebraska's going to have a little chip on the shoulder. They're going to be a little mad and try to come back. But at the end of the day, I mean, it'll be a tough ball game for a little bit. But at the end of the day, Ohio State's got too much power. They're pretty solid. You know, their only loss is to Oregon. So I look for Ohio State to beat Nebraska probably, somewhere around 38-14, 38-17, something like that. So anyhow, moving on, number 5 team is Texas. They just got killed by Georgia this past weekend, and Texas is at Vanderbilt this weekend. Vanderbilt's a pretty strong little ball club. They're playing good ball, actually. The coach is doing well, but Texas is going to be pissed, and they got too much talent. So odds are, I don't know who they're starting at quarterback. Probably Arch Manning, from what it looks like. But anyway, either with Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning, doesn't matter. They'll beat Vanderbilt by about 14. That's probably about what they're going to beat Vanderbilt by, if not 20. Number 16 is Miami. They will be facing Florida State. So they got an easy pull this weekend. Miami will win that game handily. So they'll probably beat them by 21, 24 points, somewhere in that ballpark. Number 17 is Tennessee. Tennessee's off this weekend. And then we got the game of the week at number 8. LSU is at Texas A&M. Texas A&M's number 14 team in the AP ranking. So that'll be a good ball game. That's going to be a tough one. LSU's getting a lot better on defense. It's helping out tremendously. Aggies are 4-0 in conference. LSU's 3-0. They're the last two teams in the SEC undefeated. So one of them will walk away this weekend being undefeated in conference play. Both teams are 6-1 overall. LSU's lost to USC. A&M has lost to Notre Dame. So anyhow, that'll be a good ball game. Next one is Clemson, number 9. They are off. They're idle this weekend. Number 10 team, Iowa State, is idle this weekend. Number 11 team is BYU. They are at UCF. It'll be a tough little ball game for the first half. Second half, BYU will probably pull away. They're tough, gritty. They play tough little ball. They had a tough little game against, the last game was against Oklahoma State. They pulled it out, but they fought hard and played well. They're still undefeated, 7-0, 4-0 in conference. I look for BYU to just pretty much run the table and probably, win the Big 12 is kind of what I'm looking at this point. They're playing real good ball. Iowa State's, they're still undefeated. BYU, they still got, let's see, after UCF, they'll play Utah, Kansas, Arizona State, and Houston. So realistically, they got about the easiest path left of anybody in the Big 12. So I'm going to put them in there in the conference title game. And then Iowa State, of course, they're idle this weekend. But they'll come back and they'll play Texas Tech, Kansas, Cincinnati, Utah, Kansas State. So they got a couple little tough ball games. Well, I say a few. They got Texas Tech's going to be a little tough. Cincinnati, Kansas State for sure. Utah's just struggling right now, but they be a tough ball game for a little bit. But anyway, that's what we're looking at with BYU. Number 12 is Notre Dame. Notre Dame is at Navy. Navy is the number 24 team in the AP ranking. This is going to be a tight ball game. If Notre Dame makes any mistakes or turns the ball over or anything like that, Navy's probably going to win that ball game. It's going to be tough, I think. But at the end of the day, if everything goes right, Notre Dame will probably beat them by a touchdown. But it's going to be a tough one. Number 13, Indiana. Indiana's starting quarterback, he was the number 1 in the quarterback ranking. He got hurt his thumb against Nebraska. The backup quarterback, Tavion, I think it was Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull it up real quick. Let's see, Indiana. Their backup quarterback, let's go to the stats here. Yeah, Taven Jackson, I believe. I hope I say that right. I apologize if I don't. Taven Jackson, he's from Indiana, and second half, he played the whole second half against Nebraska. He's 12 for 18 on the season, 225 yards, 66.7 completion rate, 3 touchdowns, and his rating is 226.7. So if he keeps that up, Indiana will be good. But we'll see. You hate to see the Rourke kid get hurt. But anyhow, still with that, Indiana will beat Washington probably by 10 at home. Also, then we have the number 14 team, Texas A&M. We'd already talked about that with LSU. The number 15 team is Alabama. They play Missouri at home. Missouri had a tough game against Auburn this past weekend. Come from behind, down 14, won the ball game. Missouri's currently number 21 in the rankings. It's going to be a tough ball game. Missouri's got a good defense. Alabama's they're struggling. Right now, they're mentally not in it. Something's going on at Alabama. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but Alabama should win the ball game, but it's going to be a tight one. Missouri's going to be tough. Drinkwitz is a good coach. But anyway, look for a tight ball game. I think at the end of the day, Alabama will probably win by 3. So, but don't be surprised if Missouri pulls the upset. Kansas State is number 16. They play Kansas at home. Kansas State should win this ball game by 10. Number 17 is Boise State. Boise State is at UNLV. With Boise State, they got the running back that's so strong, that's up for Heisman. UNLV play them a little tough, but I think Boise is going to pull it out at the end. They'll win by 7. Number 18, Ole Miss. They're playing Oklahoma this weekend. Oklahoma is just in shambles. Ole Miss ain't much better after they lost to LSU. But Ole Miss will beat them pretty good. They'll beat them by about probably 25 to 28 points. They'll beat Oklahoma. Number 19 is Pittsburgh versus Syracuse. This is going to be a good ball game right here, folks. Pittsburgh is undefeated. Syracuse has 1 loss. Let me double check that real quick. But Syracuse has got, they got the McCord kid. He transferred from Ohio State to Syracuse. He's quarterbacking. Pittsburgh got Eli Holstein from Alabama. He transferred. This is his first year playing. But Pittsburgh is doing good. Syracuse is doing good. Syracuse is 5-1, 2-1 in the conference. Pittsburgh 6-0 and 2-0 in the conference. So, like I say, but this is going to be a tight game. These teams are pretty closely matched. But I tell you, at the end of the day, Pittsburgh's probably about a 3-point. I'd say they're going to win by 3. Pittsburgh will. But I wouldn't be surprised if Syracuse won the ball game. But anyhow, our number 20 team, of course, Illinois, they're playing Oregon. Number 21, Missouri's playing Alabama. We already talked about that. 22 is SMU. SMU is 3rd right now in the ACC. They're 6-1 and 3-0 in the conference. And they're playing Duke. Duke is doing good. They're 6-1, 2-1 in the conference. But at the end of the day, I think SMU's going to have too many horses. They're going to have too much horsepower, I think SMU will, for Duke. But I look for SMU to beat Duke by about 10 to 14 points. So anyhow, we'll get on. Number 23 team is Army. They're idle this weekend. 24 is Navy, of course. They play Notre Dame. 25 Vanderbilt's playing Texas. So we've already talked about that. I appreciate everybody. If you would, like and subscribe. Share the content. I appreciate you listening. Catch me next week with the top 25. And I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.